Hey everybody, welcome to This Pink Cloud. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. We're a show that is about multiple pathways to recovery, mental health, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. I guess that's subscribe. do both just in case. I am excited to have this young lady on the show. We actually officially met at Boogie's, which is a fitting place for us to meet. She is a new member of the Technoerotica crew, which we love. Everybody give it up for my guest, Bianca Beltran, which is a cool name anyways, but she also goes by DJ Mars, as you can see. But excited to have you here, and just wanted to, chat it up. And then I think we're going to touch on mental health at some point, but welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kelly. And
Yeah.
long overdue that we meet. I mean, I've heard so much about you, so I'm glad that we finally met recently.
Well, we've been in the same room too. We
Yeah,
were at Casey Farrell's
yes,
mental health, symposium or
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yes,
but we just never met. So now
I
we
know.
have, and now we're besties.
That's it.
All right, that's how it goes. But yeah, why don't you start off, tell the folks a little bit about the backstory, and then we'll compare shirts later.
Yeah, no, sounds good. For sure, for sure. I'd love that. So, backstory is I've always had a love for music. Definitely always had a knack for it. I grew up in a household that celebrated music. My grandpa had a record collection, so did my dad. So I grew up listening to Donna Summer,
Mm-hmm.
and I think my love for disco really came from that, as well as Madonna. Heard a lot of Madonna growing up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll do
and
it.
I'm originally from Puerto Rico, so I also grew up with a lot of Latin music, so salsa, bachata, merengue, um, and Puerto Rico loves music. Like
Well,
it's
yeah, I was gonna say, were you stoked about Bad Bunny on the Super Bowl?
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where Bad Bunny has really popularized reggaeton, and
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of reggaeton artists that came before him,
Oh
but
yeah, Daddy Yankee, all that stuff.
exactly, and Don Omar and Tego Calderon, Wisin y Yandel, like all those guys, right? There's so many more, but I
I'm
mean,
not gonna pretend to know who any of those people are, but I will I will nod politely.
but yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, I actually I grew up listening to that music when I was a
Mm-hmm.
lot younger. I was
Okay.
listening to reggaeton when I was I don't know, I was probably between the ages of 9 to 12 years old.
Okay.
So it's funny.
When did you move from the island to here?
Yeah. So my family and I moved to Texas about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, I miss Puerto Rico so much because we're totally landlocked here, man. There's no beach,
Yeah.
not like the
No,
Caribbean.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like here you get like the occasional tornado, but there you get the devastating hurricanes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw a lot of that, growing
Hmm.
up. I like uh those kind of conditions, like seeing hurricanes come through the island and getting your house ready for it and all that.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. So, okay, cool. So you got here to the US, and then did y'all immediately move to Texas, or how did it go?
So I call it my tour of the South,
Okay.
essentially. Moved from Puerto Rico to then Florida, then Texas.
What city in Florida?
We moved to West Palm Beach,
Okay.
and
All
this
right.
actually,
So that's kind of similar. That's
yeah,
island-esque vibes.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's the perfect segue to further even that musical journey and story. Like
Hmm.
in West Palm Beach, there were a lot of nightclubs in downtown, and this was like the early 2000s, and obviously I wasn't old enough to go into a nightclub, but
Right.
my mom and dad were really into like going out and bringing their kid with them, whether or not
Hmm.
they wanted to hire a babysitter. I don't know how much that had to do with it, but
Sure.
they
They're
they
like,
they would let me
eh.
tag along to whatever they got
Well,
up
you
to.
were probably almost old enough, right? or
Oh,
like,
I was very young. I was probably
yeah.
like 7,
Oh,
8,
okay.
9. I
Well,
was
that was
I was a
cute when you
child.
brought the kid along.
Yeah,
My parents would do that too.
yeah.
We brought the kid along for the night out, and I would just go hit the arcade
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had
And
them
I
there.
loved arcades too as a kid.
Yeah.
I loved all the sounds and the chimes and lights.
Yeah.
But there were nightclubs like typically we would go out to like dinner as a family and then we would
Yeah.
walk around downtown and like I just remember like there were so many nightclubs on just like one particular strip and I would hear like the music just dum, dum, dum,
Yeah.
coming out and I'd just be like, wow, what is that? That sounds cool.
Right.
And I could at least get a little close enough to hear some of it. But then when we would drive back home, my dad would just put on the radio and play whatever DJ was playing at such and such nightclub because
Hmm.
back then, right, like the DJs, they would have like the music that they were playing like stream in that way. So
Right.
I
Well, I mean, back here, we had in the 90s and early 2000s was Edge Club. That was our legendary thing. So I can relate.
so what was Edge Club like?
Edge Club was great. So Edge Club was basically, their studios were North Dallas. They would have a guest mix on usually, so the guest mix the person would be like live in the studio. And it started off on vinyl, but then eventually, got to Serato and all that, the controller stuff. But and then what they would do is go and do a live broadcast from like Lizard Lounge, which Lizard Lounge is now It'll Do and blah
Yes.
blah blah. But it was cool. Like we would do that, or there was a spot called Red Jacket where they would do live broadcasts from, and it was just cool. It was just like okay, from 10 till 4 in the morning, basically
That's cool.
was what was going on. That
That's
was what.
incredible.
Yeah, it was cool.
I never got to see Lizard Lounge, unfortunately.
Well, you can still go see the outside.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you can drive by. It's still up, barely. I mean, I'm no telling when they're going to take it down, but it is technically still standing.
That's cool. I,
Yeah,
I actually didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, but I just wish I could have gotten to have that experience of actually being in there.
right.
I've heard so much about it. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously It'll Do's like my second home now, and that's great. But
right.
yeah, I wish I
It's
could.
Lizard Lounge Junior, is what I
Right.
like to
Yeah.
call it. Smaller. Yeah. But so okay, so you're a kid going out to clubs with the folks in West Palm, and
Yeah. So, I have vivid memories of like hearing songs during that time on the radio, and it was like "Days Go by Dirty Vegas,"
yeah,
"One More Time" by Daft Punk,
yeah, classic.
um, "Feels So Good" by Sonique.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it. I didn't really like know what it was. I just knew I was very, very drawn to it. I
Hmm.
loved the energy of that sort of music.
Right.
But yeah, very, very kind of musical journey growing up. Again, growing up with the Latin music, also growing up with disco, electronic music, and because I lived in Florida, I was heavily exposed to like a lot of like hip hop and
Mm-hmm.
R&B. I heard a lot of that as well. And by the way, I didn't speak English very well at the time. I actually learned
Well, okay.
English. Yeah, I learned English during this time. So like a lot of the songs that I heard in English, I didn't know what they were saying. I just knew I liked it.
Right. Well, so then, yeah, that's crazy. So, like, how did you? Because you have like little to no accent
Yeah.
except when you start saying reggaeton,
Yeah.
and you start rattling off the artist names.
Yeah, yeah.
But so how did you end up learning English?
Yeah, it was really hard. It was
Yeah.
so hard to learn English. Like never underestimate like learning a new language.
Yeah.
It's like being given a new set of rules.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate to learn how to read, write, and speak English at a very early age. So like
Okay.
when
That
we
helps.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does help because kids, right? Like you're soaking up all the information like a sponge
Yeah.
and I think so when I first started to learn how to speak English, I actually did have an accent, but I've now lived in the US for all my life that that accent has now acclimated to my surroundings. Like I would argue that sometimes I have a little bit of a southern accent. It might not come through
Yeah.
always, but like it might be certain words, and now
Sure.
suddenly
Well,
I
like
sound very
y'all. I
southern. Yeah,
mean,
I will say y'all.
you
Yeah,
have to say y'all.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
because it's the only word that makes sense.
Yeah.
You all, y'all. I
Well,
mean,
and
come on.
I joke that I'm Texarican now. You
There
know.
we go. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
But so, okay, so then you moved so from West Palm, then
Mhm.
moved to Dallas or what?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
tour of
yeah.
the South?
Yes, so my dad got a job in DFW, so we moved here, and I actually grew up in Keller, so not terribly far from Dallas, and um, like interestingly enough, like me and Jordy, Indent, like
Right. Shout out.
we both shout out to Indent, like we both realized a little bit later that we both grew up in the same area. It's just we never crossed paths back then because I'm a little bit older than him.
Hmm.
So yeah, but anyways, yeah, we moved to Texas, and I did all my school here and all that, and when I finished like university, I moved to Arkansas, lived there for 2 years, had a job there, but then moved back to Dallas. So when I came
Sure.
back to Dallas, it was 2019, and I'm so glad that I had moved back before the pandemic hit because
Hmm.
there's just no way I could have kept sane living in
In
a place like
Arkansas.
Arkansas
Yeah,
during
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
pandemic. Like,
Well,
yeah,
and your family's down here now.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
my
So you
my
got your
family's in
little support
Texas.
unit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. Well, and then so you go from I mean, it's the pandemic, and then how does that, I guess, start, your DJ career?
yeah,
And then also, we'll get into the at some point the depression that you went through, that you didn't realize you did.
yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
So, with DJing, when I was living in Arkansas, it was around the year like 2018,
Hmm.
Christmas 2018. My partner got me the DDJ SR2 controller as a Christmas gift. Awesome
Nice.
Christmas gift to get,
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and I got it. I unboxed it. I was like, this is so freaking cool, but I have no
Right.
idea what any of
There's
this
a
stuff.
lot of buttons
There's
and
a lot of buttons.
right,
Exactly.
right, right. I remember
Exactly.
when I got my first controller, I was like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
because I went from like they actually had physical CD players for a little
Mm,
while, where you would put the CD player in, and then it became where okay, you can load like 100 MP3s on on a disc, and then it eventually moved to Serato, which I loved because
Yes.
then you could have your entire library super easy to access,
Yes.
and then now it's USB, and you gotta have your shit together. You gotta have your somewhat organized,
Yeah, the additional
playlist.
step.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. And all of that is such a learning curve
right.
because, to your point, I also loved Serato.
Hmm.
I That's actually where I first started. So
Yeah,
like this controller that I got was compatible with both Serato and Rekordbox, but I naturally had downloaded Serato because it unlocked more features with like
yeah.
the Serato Pro, and I had like these like effects that came with it and all that. But 2018 wasn't really the year where I would say I started to learn how to DJ. If anything, it made me realize how involved it truly was. And I
Hmm.
didn't have any, from an educational standpoint, I didn't have any guidance. There was no one in my life like who could have maybe given me tips or, given
Right.
me some pointers or anything like that. And I
And that
tried
was before the whole DJ schools thing. Now there's DJ schools, and they're
for sure.
they're good, and they kind of give you a little structure and kind of help you gain the knowledge of people that have been doing it for years. Whereas
Yeah.
back then it wasn't necessarily a thing.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
it wasn't as common. Although to your point, I was looking into a DJ school at the time
Hmm.
based in LA.
Okay.
I was like, well, I just graduated college because I graduated 2017.
Hmm.
Um, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do next? Yeah, sure, I got this job, but like, what am I gonna do next? I
Hmm.
want to learn how
Sure.
to DJ, and I really did consider going to this one DJ school in LA.
Right, and that was funny because there was probably nothing in Dallas, right, yet.
Yeah, there
So
was
you had to go
no.
to LA to learn how to DJ. That's
Exactly.
funny.
And I was like, well, maybe I don't need to do all that. Maybe I can like learn on my own. And again, I tried going on YouTube and searching some videos, but there just wasn't like what there is today, where there are so many content creators now on YouTube. I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think now with monetization and like to your point about DJ schools, like I mean, you can do that now in person or virtual, and there's just so much like the barriers to DJing now I think have reduced by a lot. Like
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
yeah, obviously like
Well, there was the whole, like, I mean, I can talk, like, you had to have the skill set of beat matching with vinyl. There was no 127, 127. It was, you do that with your ear holes. You know what I
exactly
mean? So,
yeah, completely different beasts like
yeah,
vinyl
yeah,
mixing versus digital mixing. Yeah.
yeah,
And you and I touched on this a little while ago. Like it's just like yeah, there was no way to quantize the music with
yeah,
vinyl. So
yeah.
yeah, and so I learned digital first. Now, 2018, I tried it. I tried to understand how to do some things. I was doing little baby scratching and stuff like that, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. Then life happened. I put it away for a while, and then
Mm-hmm.
I brought it back out in 2021
Mm-hmm.
when I had been talking with some of my friends, and they were like, "You seem to really want to get into that. Why don't you revisit it? Like you seem like you really want to get into it." And I told them, I was like, yeah, I need to find the time, whatever. And of course, like where I was spending most of my time in 2021 was a rock climbing gym, and I was climbing 4 hours a day, 5 days a week,
Wow.
which is stupid. I do not recommend for anyone
Right.
to do that. Like
Yeah.
you're putting too
A
much,
little obsessive.
yeah, a little
Right.
way, very obsessive,
Right.
very and I had mentioned this to you before as well, where I definitely have a little bit of an overindulgent personality.
Mm-hmm.
I can get very fixated on
You
something.
go hard.
Yeah, like once I
Yeah.
pick something, like I'm going
Yeah.
full throttle. So,
Sure.
anyways, I all that to say, I got injured because I was just going so hard at the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and went to the doctor. They told me, listen, I need you to cool it and like take a break. You
Right.
can still work out, you can still do things, but like you need to give like your leg, your knee a rest because
Yeah.
you're if you don't, like this could get worse and you will have to have surgery. So I
Sure.
listened and I stayed at
Right.
home.
Right.
And that's when I said, okay, no more
I got to do
excuses.
something.
Yep, no more
Right.
excuses. I'm gonna learn how to DJ. Let's do
Right.
it, you know?
Well,
And
hey, real quick, let's start a commercial and we'll be right
okay.
back.
Are you an old fool who's so cool like us? Funky Gold is a network of skilled and hardworking DFW DJs over 40. We gather to create a mutually supportive environment for all members who are doing big things. Our DJs are leaders in the community who bring special skills and opportunities to share. We strive for professionalism in the music business, and we have hearts of gold. Not to mention we have the coolest swag and the funkiest headquarters. If you're interested in learning more about joining the crew, connect with us on Instagram, YouTube, or Gmail at Funky Gold Network.
All right, and that is Funky Gold Network. We love those guys. Be sure hit them up on Instagram, and they've got all the all kinds of cool events and good stuff going on. So be sure to check them out. And also got some new music. Here it is.
Break time. That shit lightning goes up, it's frightening. For to be exciting, goes up, it's frightening. For to be exciting, that shit lightning goes up, it's frightening. For to be exciting, damn.
All right, and that is actually a song that should be out right when this airs. So it will come out, I think, the same day, and it is called "Damn," and it is a French-inspired disco house song. So I'm excited for that one to come out, and be sure and follow the podcast, obviously, on Spotify, and you can follow me, Kelly Reverb, on Spotify as well. And just in case you didn't get the name of the podcast, it's This Pink Cloud. So be sure and follow and like and comment and buy the track on Beatport. There we go. So that's my plug, and I'm done. But so let's get to the where you basically were forced to DJ now.
I had no
either
excuses left.
either face lifelong injury or
Yeah.
DJ.
Exactly,
All right.
exactly. Pick your poison, you
Right.
know? Like I wanted to do something productive. I wanted to stop putting it off.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down with my DDJ SR2,
Mm-hmm.
Serato, my very limited music library. I looked into this was very new at the time, but I looked into the streaming platforms, you know, like Beatport, so that
Yeah.
way I could get access to a lot of different type of music,
Right.
and I could go ahead and just run drills with different genres, and I was spinning all sorts of things like, you know, psychedelic trance, drum and bass.
It's kind of cool, like the whole streaming thing. Obviously, that's like you know, when you're on the take, dude, like when you get like, I hate being on that. I'm like a yearly membership kind of guy, but I love the fact that they offer that now because then it kind of gives you a chance to explore and figure out what your vibe is, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. I was very much in that exploratory phase. I
Hmm.
knew the kind of music I was listening to, the kind of music I was dancing to, the kind of I kind of had an idea of like, oh, what kind of DJ do I want to be? What is my brand going to be? That sort of thing. But more than anything, this was my opportunity to play, and this was my opportunity to learn. And because of that, I was playing genres on there that, you know, I typically wouldn't play,
Right.
but it was fun, you know, like I
Sure.
was it was a broad range, right? Like you could play house and disco because like those genres like come very naturally to me, but I could also like bend the rules a bit and
Yeah.
genre blend in a way that
Well, and
I
back in
like
the
that.
day, that's how it kind of was. You could play some house, you could play some breakbeat,
Hmm.
and then you could play some drum and bass, and then you would even play hip hop. like,
Yeah.
like some Beastie Boys, Tribe Called Quest,
Yes.
all the good stuff. And there was no problem. It was just called, that was called programming the night.
Yeah.
But I was also DJing for like 6 hours a night. Whereas now it's like, one 1 hour and bounce,
The one
Yeah.
hour to 1 hour and a half slot,
Yeah.
it's just not enough time.
Sure.
I feel like sometimes, like, I think it makes sense in certain settings, but
Yeah.
I'm with you. I love like a long set. If I can play 4, 5, or 6 hours, like that's amazing. I feel like I have so much room to let my music breathe, and
Hmm.
I also really enjoy long blends.
Yeah.
Like I love
Or just like letting the song actually go,
exactly.
do its thing. Yeah.
Let the song play out,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't like it whenever like the song changes too fast. Like if I'm
Yeah.
only hearing
Like
30
their
seconds of the song,
power mixing is what I
yes,
call it.
I
Yeah.
don't I it's not for me. It's just it feels too abrupt
Right.
for me personally. It
Well,
kind of
I mean, there are people that are really good to it, but I think it's also more prevalent maybe in the like hip hop stuff and top
Mhm,
40.
mhm.
That's when you'll see like a lot of that. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually started very open format, because
Yeah.
here I am with my DDJ SR2 controller. I'm using Serato. I have access to all these different genres of music. I also have my local library. One of my good DJ friends, shout out Tommy Blaze.
Okay.
He gave me a lot of his local music library, like thousands of songs.
Hmm.
And Tommy is the kind of DJ that will, he does like corporate events and restaurants and stuff like that. So he had like
Sure.
the more familiar type music, and
Right. Crossover
because
material. Right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
because of that, like it gave me again, like I just started very, very open format. And then
Hmm.
eventually I was like, okay, like I've tried this, and like I said, I would run drills and I'd be like, okay, that sucked, or like, hey,
Hmm.
actually that went well. I recorded a lot of mixes to see how I sounded, and I mean, it was super rough at first. Like it didn't sound great.
Hmm.
Concepts didn't like fully click with me immediately. Again,
Right.
like I was starting from scratch, no
Sure.
previous
Well, and I
experience.
mean, the thing is what helps is once you know your library better,
Yeah.
and then you start, it definitely takes a while to do that, and it's practice and time. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And I eventually did away with the Beatport streaming and relying on all the music on there because I mean, uh, like for a while, like I would, rack up all my songs like before a gig and put it in the Beatport locker, which allowed
Yeah.
you to play that music like without an
Sure.
internet connection.
Right.
But like eventually I outgrew that just because I transitioned from Serato and into Record Box,
Hmm. Yeah.
And when that happened, when I made that transition, that was when I got my RX3 controller. And I
Right.
officially,
Well, that's what I have. I
yeah,
still have mine. Yeah, that was the new big screen. So you got the
exactly.
3000 big screen, but it was portable. It was good in case you had to go somewhere.
Yes.
But then you also weren't totally lost if you're playing on like the CDJ 3000s. You're not
Yeah,
like that was the thing, like, because I had to do, I had the controller as well. Can't remember what the controller was, but it was a Serato controller. And then I was like, man, I need to get like, where I'm not like going, what does, because it takes, you want to be kind of fluent at where you're going and where's the loop button, where's the loop feature, how do you loop on the RX3 and, all that stuff. So,
100%. And
yeah.
that was actually the reason why I invested in getting the XDJ RX3. Like
Hmm.
I could feel that like okay, I've had enough gigs under my belt now to where I think making this upgrade makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
Yeah, like so going back to what I was saying when I was first learning and whatnot, like that was spring of 2022,
Hmm.
and I had just gotten my first three gigs, and I felt like I still was learning, but
Right.
I went ahead and did it. Like my first gig was at a Brazilian steakhouse, and then my second gig was at Ascension Coffee before the coffee shop rave was a thing.
Sure.
The last one was actually at the rock climbing gym at Movement. And I mean, I was a nervous wreck. There's a whole lot of things that I feel like I look back on now where I'm just like, wow, like that I don't feel those things like I used to. Like,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of that comes with um time and experience and muscle memory, like and so like I said, I invested in the RX3, and that really helped me become fluent in playing on CDJs because
Right.
for the longest time I was scared of those. It
Yeah.
really was.
Yeah.
I was terrified of playing on a
Well,
on
the
the
CDJ
CDJ.
and the A9, like you're just like,
Yeah.
what does all this
Yep.
shit do? You know,
Yeah.
like I mean, and it's the thing is, it's like you just want to be proficient when
Yes.
you arrive, and you want to be familiar with what your, the equipment is of, it'd be like being a NASCAR driver and
Yeah.
then just going, hey, here, drive my car instead of that car, or
Mhm.
drive an airplane instead of a car kind of thing.
That's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you say that because I remember telling one of my friends that the very first time I ever played on gear like that, I explained it to my one of my good friends as like, I am used to playing this kind of everyday car, and then now I'm playing on something that feels like you're driving around in like a BMW or an Aston Martin, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like whatever luxury car you wanna
Sure.
name that. But
Insert luxury car name.
insert
Yeah.
luxury car, but that's what it felt like. And so yeah, I invested in the RX3 in December of 2023.
Okay.
And I don't really love making big purchases.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but I really want to do this. I want to be proficient. And so I did. I finally switched. I stopped using Serato. I eventually sold my SR2.
Yeah.
And I was fully committed to learning, okay, this is where I'm at now, and this is
Hmm.
what I want to be good with. And there was something I wanted to say about that, but I in that moment lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it happens. But so yeah, once you get like proficient and you're on that, I mean, I think we're actually going to, and you can go back and if you remember it, just randomly bring it back up. Um, but as far as DJing, and then like you kind of cut your teeth on DJing, and then you kind of figure out who you are as a DJ. But then this whole time you're still working corporate,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But then you don't realize it, but that corporate, had a less than favorable kind of boss situation where you start getting depressed.
hmm
So let's get into that a little bit, and
yeah,
then talk about how the music ties into that.
yeah, definitely. So the past, I guess 7 years or so, I worked in advertising in the corporate
Hmm.
setting, and I would say like for those first few years, it was going great, and I loved my job and like the things that I could do. But it wasn't until like I think it was like between the years of 2023 and 2024,
Hmm.
I had a new manager that stepped in, and that was less than favorable, that experience.
Hmm.
And You hear people say it all the time where it's just like people don't leave jobs, people leave bad managers. And
Hmm.
it really felt like that. Like I was doing everything I could to get out of that situation. I was taking vacation left and right just so I didn't have to like,
Sure.
show up to
How
my
much more PTO do I have?
yeah.
Right.
And I had a lot because I had
Yeah.
like seniority and
Hmm.
but yeah, the working environment that I was in became pretty hostile. It was
A
not
little toxic, if you will.
100%.
Yeah.
And because of that, my mental health really suffered. And I've always had a way of kind of dealing with that. It was going to the gym, going dancing, DJing. Like I always tried to streamline those kind of hardships with something positive.
Right. So an outlet, if you
Yeah,
will.
an outlet,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was kind of beyond that, you know? So
Hmm.
I suck out help and I went to therapy and
Hmm.
I was meeting with the therapist regularly, just really just to vent, and talk
Sure.
about like what I was struggling with. And
Hmm.
yeah, it really just took up so much of my headspace. Like I remember there was one time where I was on vacation
Hmm.
and I was still thinking about work. And I was like, this is a problem. This is not healthy. And on my vacation, I went to one of my favorite clubs, Fabric in London.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, and while I'm there, like I normally have a great time, but like while I was there, I couldn't help but think like, oh shit, like I have to, after
You
this,
are
I have
still
to go back to
thinking,
work.
yeah, you are
Yeah,
future trip. I like to call that in recovery, we call that future tripping.
that's
Because
exactly
yeah,
what it was.
because you're like worrying about shit that hasn't even happened yet.
Yep,
You
yep,
know, it's like, then what do you think is going to happen if you're already worrying about, you know, if you're thinking of the worst outcomes, and you're thinking all this stuff and your mind's racing.
yeah.
I mean, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, that's the whole manifesting destiny is, you're already in a shitty headspace. So,
Mhm.
guess what's going to happen? Bad shit.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's how I felt, like I was already thinking of like what a shitstorm it would be when I got back, type of deal. And yeah, there were some days where like I would be done with work and I would have a gig because it was finally Friday night or Saturday night. I used to
Mhm.
play every Friday at Wild Salsa Mexican restaurant off Main Street in downtown, and then Saturdays I would play across the street at Wicked Butcher. And I always looked
You got,
forward to the
did you
weekend.
get fed?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I was like
Yeah,
both
yeah.
of those both of those gigs sound delicious.
They were very delicious, and they
Right.
could make really great cocktails as well.
Well, there we
Um,
go. Yeah.
yeah. And so, anyways, I before these gigs, like yeah, I would be done with my workday and I would be like in my closet getting dressed and I would just be like crying because like work was really hard.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the days like my partner saw me and was saying like, "Hey, like chin up, like things are gonna get better and you're about to go and do the thing that you love. Like I
Hmm.
know I know work has you down, but like you're about to go do something that makes you happy. Like it's gonna
Right.
be okay. And
Right. Which I think is important in life in general,
yes.
is to do
Yeah.
something you enjoy. Don't be miserable in whatever you're doing.
I couldn't agree more. And I really was trying to leave where I was, but I mean, we were starting to see the beginning of a very rough job market.
Yeah.
And because of that, like I really struggled to land something else. So I was unfortunately very, very stuck. Could I
Yeah.
have quit? I mean,
Yeah.
sure, but like, I have to pay my bills. And
Yeah. But
as
I
you
can
know,
tell, you got some rock climber in you. You
you
know, you, you can, you don't give up.
can't give up, man. You
Yeah.
really can't,
You
you
got, you,
gotta,
you're a fighter.
I Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's tip of the iceberg compared to like what I faced this past year,
Yeah.
because, well, and we'll get to that, but to wrap up this story,
Hmm.
uh, I was fortunate enough, and luckily I was able to have a different manager. I shifted into a new role at my job, which made things easier.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For a year, I was in a better role. I had a better manager and all that,
Gotcha.
so that softened the blow. But then
Right.
I got laid off in May of 2025 because again, bad job market, and
Right.
corporations have been cutting
Yeah,
roles.
there's a lot of AI going on and
That
starting
too.
and all that stuff, and
Yep,
it's just
yep.
like, yeah,
So
you,
I, even though, okay, so even though that happened, like
hmm,
obviously that's not great news to get, like getting that call from someone you hardly work with and telling you your job's terminated. Like
right,
my first emotion that I felt was relief.
right. Oh yeah, yeah,
And like that is so telling of like, wow, like I was done. I was, you know what I mean? Like
right.
I was ready to get out.
My first thought is unemployment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what it was.
right.
I was unemployed.
Well, no, but you get unemployment,
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like, oh,
that
cool.
too. Yeah.
My first thought is free money.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And luckily, we do have programs in place like that
Yeah,
to help
yeah,
people in situations like this. I'm very grateful for that.
right.
I searched for a new job. It took me 8 months to find a new full time, and I love
Hmm.
it where I'm at now. But yes, like in the meantime, I fully locked in with DJing and bartending, and honestly, man, like it was a ride. I had so much fun,
Right.
and like
You fully belong to the circus, is what
yeah,
I call it.
I
Like the
do.
bartending and being in the club business
Yeah,
is what I
yeah,
refer to as the circus. Because,
that's right.
it kind of is, you're traveling, not everything, you're somewhere, I mean, sometimes you get a cool gig where you're at one spot for a bunch of nights, but usually it's like, if you're DJing, you're three different spots in a week or whatever, um, and then same, bartending, you can have a couple different spots you work at, and crazy hours,
Yep.
so it's just like the circus is what I
Yeah.
call it. Yeah.
I'm a night owl, so it kind of works out for me. Like I feel like my mind is the most active in just really weird times of the night.
I'm the same way, man. I love to, when I write music, I love to, like, it's, 3 in the morning, whatever is my prime time.
Yeah.
And then like I'm just like, oh shit, the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
Time to go to bed.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it definitely. I lose track of time
Right.
on the dance floor because it's just like I'm having such a great time.
Sure.
I think it's important to pace yourself, right? Like
Right.
my approach is like just hydrate throughout the night, dance,
Yeah.
sit, talk to
Sure.
people,
R- right.
get a
Yeah.
whole routine.
Yeah. Just don't just get hammered as as you can, you know. Right. Well, I mean, that was kind of like back in the day. It was like the perk was like, oh, free alcohol, man. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the benefits of DJing, where that can be a slippery slope, and not everybody can
Oh,
drink
sure.
responsibly. So
Definitely. I drive myself everywhere, so
yeah.
that's how I keep myself in check.
Okay.
Like that's,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Well, let's just say not everybody does that. Let's just say I might know a few of those people.
Yeah.
And I might have been one of those people at some point, but
Yeah.
you know, knock on wood, you know. But so you had like another situation that you were going to talk about beyond that. I don't know what it was. You said something and you go, I'm going to get to that.
Oh, yeah, that 2025 was rough just because of the whole layoff thing, you
Yeah.
know. But honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. Like, um, you know, as shitty as it is to like lose your job and not know what's going to happen next or how you're going to survive or make ends meet,
Mm-hmm.
it really, again, it was just a situation that made me go, okay, like we're gonna figure this out and everything's gonna be okay. And I have extremely supportive friends, my partner as well, my family, like
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that it was hunky dory. It certainly wasn't. There was some really bright days, there was some really dark days, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I would say that whole experience, it was necessary, you know,
Right.
as much as it was uncomfortable. I like on the flip side, I actually had a really great time, like, between bartending and DJing and
Right.
like meeting new people. Like I feel like in just that short amount of time, like I've been able to, you know, play at new places that I've never
Sure.
played at and meet people that I've never met before and make meaningful connections and yeah, that's you know what I mean? Like even in difficult times, there something really great can come out of it. And
Sure.
when I was struggling with essentially like the deep despair, right? Like the,
Mm-hmm.
the, the depression, the feeling overworked at my job, which
Mm-hmm.
led me to feel very like creatively stifled. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was important for me back then to get help, get therapy, uh,
Yeah.
and
I think honestly, and I mean, I'm a huge advocate for therapy, period, because, a lot of people don't realize certain things until you start talking. And then once you talk, you open up and you're like, oh, wow, that did fuck with me,
yeah,
and I
100%.
think I think that's important also, just obviously in general in recovery, because what they, a lot of people use substance as a coping mechanism.
For sure.
And when they, do that as a coping mechanism, they don't realize why they're doing it necessarily. And a lot of it has to do with stuff like PTSD, which is, past trauma and stuff like that. And no matter, I mean, it can be some really hardcore shit like child abuse, or, it can be something on the lighter side, but it's still messing with you,
Oh,
and if you don't, if you don't address that, then, or maybe even just meditation or something
hmm.
like that, and
Yeah.
you don't realize that that's going on,
Mhm.
and you let that shit get you, I mean, because that's basically what you were doing, is you were letting your shitty boss get to you,
100%.
um and 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 get in your head and mess with your future as well as your present, and you were giving that situation energy that it didn't deserve, you
Oh,
know
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
it did take up a lot of my headspace, and I think
Mhm.
a lot of that is due to the fact that like I've always prided myself on, doing a good job. And um I mean,
Right.
I show up in a honest and eager way
Yeah.
in all aspects of my life. Like, it's kind of funny because it totally translates to me as a DJ. Like I love to show up early,
Yeah.
I love to, have
You don't strike me as the slacker mentality,
definitely
you
not.
know right.
No, I really care about doing a good job, and it's important. to put my best self forward. And
Right.
because I didn't feel celebrated at all, where I was at work and in my role at that time, it that just became really difficult. And my my antidote to my antidote or my remedy to help me with all of those feelings that I felt back then, where I was really dragged down and I was really unhappy with the way things were going at work, was really all the things that I've mentioned already, like being able to balance going to the gym. That helped me maintain my stress levels. Going to therapy really helped me.
Yeah.
Doing yoga, dancing on the dance floor to music that really like
Sure.
resonates with me deeply, because like
Yeah.
the relationship that I have with music, I think is I think people listening to your podcast will definitely relate to this. It just feels deeply intimate. It feels otherworldly. Like it just
Well, everybody has look. Everybody in the world has a favorite song, regardless of its if it's dance music or not. Whatever. But you have and that's the beauty of music is that that song makes you feel a certain emotion, and hopefully, that's that emotion you want to connect with. Either it's like something you're dealing with, and it's a sad song, or it's something that gets you pumped up for the day, or, just something that makes you groove and just
100%.
chill.
Yeah,
Hey, so I wanted to get to this real quick, because we got about 10 more minutes. But I mean, you know, how did you get into techno erotica? And I mean, that
yeah,
was a big stepping stone. We didn't want to leave that out.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So how did I mean? Obviously, networking and going out helps, but then it's cool to find a tribe that you resonate with,
Yeah.
and they're good peeps, and they have like cool gigs and good music.
Yeah, yeah. That's what initially attracted me to it all. I mean, I so obviously, like pandemic happened, it was really hard to go out, but I first started going to Technoerotica parties in 2021. And
Right.
I think the first party I went to was at the Clover Club, which I mean, it's not even open anymore.
Right.
But I just remember going and feeling very connected, very drawn to it. The vibe, right? Like the type of music that all the members were playing just
Yeah.
really, really resonated with me. And I was like,
Sure.
wow, like this is what I've been looking for. And like I said, I had moved to Dallas in 2019, so I still hadn't really known like what the scene was like. So this was kind of like first exposure, and I started going to more of their parties,
Mm-hmm.
and I met Stetra, I met Jajun, I met Salah,
Yeah.
Chris Rozier, just everyone on the team. And I remember just coming to enough of their parties, and they would always be like, "Oh my gosh, like thank you for coming, like thanks for
Yeah.
supporting." And I feel like the timeline between me going to the parties and me learning how to DJ were both happening at the same time. So, I wasn't really proficient yet, but like I was still in my kind of learning phase,
Right.
and really going to these parties was like not just entertaining or like okay, a release of energy,
Right.
but also it felt like I'm here to learn, like
Right.
that's how it felt like to me as well.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like the thing is you can learn like new music, but then you like maybe you see somebody and you're like, oh, that that's what I want, or you can borrow a part of it, or whatever, and it becomes part of your act or whatever. But like I mean, we all have our favorite DJs, and then we all like you're just like that dude's just cool or that girl's just cool, like, I think that's really cool. Like with Technoerotica, they're not like, you know, elitist,
No, definitely.
and that's what's cool about it. And they're just cool people, cool music, cool vibe, and that's what I love, about what they have going on.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, let's see your shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
We
So
can't forget about that.
yes,
There we go.
designed the 7-year anniversary shirt.
Yeah, for Techno Erotica, and that is the lucky cat, right? Oh,
Yep.
nice.
It's got
I
a
love
back
it.
too.
Yeah, I need to
Well, yeah,
get
the front's
I
got
need to get
the
one of those shirts. That's cool.
yeah, we did like a limited drop, but
Right.
we should be releasing
Well,
more.
I just need to get a Techno Erotica shirt, period. I go
But
to enough
the
parties.
Lucky Cat is a mascot of Technoerotica
Yeah,
because like their first party they had a Lucky Cat there and wrote some copy that says dances with those that dare to groove.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah, had a lot of fun creating these shirts, and we sold, I want to say like 35 or 40 of them. We did a very small drop for our 7-year party, which that was a big deal for me. Here I was going to their parties between
Hmm.
2021 and till now, right? And getting to
Right.
DJ the 7-year party, being invited to that because I became a Technoerotica resident late 2024. The first time I played was I was invited as a guest for
Hmm.
Midnight Rambler in the summer of 24,
Right.
but then officially became resident of Technoerotica at the end of
Cool.
2024. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a dream come true, like I'm
Right.
on.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. Like they're like, I was a fan, and now I get to be a part of it.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Hey, and so real quick, do you have anything upcoming that you want to plug, like upcoming gigs
I
or
do,
techno
yeah.
erotica? Yeah, let's hear it.
Yes.
And then also, obviously, your Instagram handle so people can follow you.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So we have a monthly residency. Like as far as Technoerotica goes, we have a monthly residency at Midnight Rambler. Definitely check our page for updates on that. We're also playing at Boogies every month.
Oh,
Also check
cool.
out the calendar for that.
Right.
As far as individual gigs that I have, I've got one coming up on February the 26th. I'll be playing at Hampton House.
Nice.
Me and another person
Right
from the
next to
crew.
Midnight Rambler, if
That's
you
right.
know the
Yes,
Dallas area.
right next door. Right next
Hmm.
door. But yeah, me and another DJ will be playing the whole night, so 9 to 2,
Cool.
and
Nice.
then I've got one more Bronca Room on March 21st, and then anything between that TBD. But
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I can't wait to see you again. I'll probably definitely see you either at Boogie's or Hampton House or something like that.
definitely.
And then any parting shout outs or advice you would like to give the viewer?
Ooh, yeah. Um, Man, yeah, I do have kind of like advice, and really it would be a few things. It would be, enjoy the journey. Don't rush anything. Don't rush the process.
Hmm.
You are where you are right now, but like whatever it is that you see for yourself. I'm talking about anything in life. It can go beyond just DJing or music production.
Hmm.
Um, I say think about where you want to be and then try to get the steps out, whether you write it out or say it to yourself verbally.
Hmm.
Just start making those little baby steps to get towards that big kind of end goal, because I promise you, even just 5 to 30 minutes a day doing something is gonna get you somewhere, as opposed to not putting any time towards that at
Right.
all.
Well, you can't expect to be, Picasso,
Yeah,
without the hours.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say that I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your highs and lows, and I mean, hopefully this will somebody will see this and they will relate.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
that it helps somebody, you
yeah,
know. Yeah.
cool.
Thank
Well,
you for
thank
letting me
you for
share my
yeah, and then also your Instagram handle. Where
Yes.
can they get a hold of you or
Yes.
see?
You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at Mars underscore the underscore DJ.
And possibly the coolest logo out
Thank
there,
you.
right? That you designed,
I
right?
did.
So if
Yes.
you see a really cool logo and Mars, you're on the right page,
It's
right?
yeah, it's a red planet with the star in the middle.
You
That
can go ahead and
was
give the significance.
yeah. It's it took me a while to land on the name Mars, but the reason for it is because I'm an Aries and my ruling planet is Mars. I got busy and started to think about, okay, how can I visualize this?
Hmm.
So very pen to paper sketches, and then eventually translated that, digitally and created an entire like brand identity
Yeah, it's
suite.
cool. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just little red planet with a star in the middle. It's
yeah,
Mars.
it looks cool. I like it.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on. Be sure to follow her on Instagram. You can follow This Pink Cloud on Instagram, me on Instagram, Spotify. Follow the podcast on the YouTube. Be sure to comment, like, and all that good stuff. And remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety because if there was, we would all take too many.
Activate.